Guys, how you doing? We're heading out on some calls today. It's a Sunday and it's still pretty hot out. It's gonna be 100 degrees again today, so thought I would run some calls today. I don't run calls every day now because I got another coworker. My coworker Keith runs a lot of the calls while I do a lot of the back end stuff on the admin side, which is fine, but I do miss running my service calls. So Sunday gives me a chance. He went camping this weekend, so this gives me an opportunity to get out and run some calls today. So I do like running my calls because I get to shoot video. There's not a lot of video to shoot. There's not a lot of video to shoot when you're at home taking calls and doing like networking events and stuff like that. The only other time I really get to get out is when we're doing installs, because it's always nice to have two guys out there doing installs instead of one. So I'm going to bring you guys along today, and we will try to make some money. Whew. Smoky. So obviously with a bad capacitor, the voltage is trying to come through, but can't get to the compressor or the fan motor because it has to get through the capacitor. So we replaced the capacitor. We should be good to go. Got a lot of that, a lot of juice on there. Contactor still looks decent. Alright, we got the system up and running again. Offered to come out and do maintenance on the system, kind of get this stuff cleaned up. Looks like they were wanting just to get it back up and running, so all good. Do a few checks here and make sure everything's running right. Suction side's about 43 degrees. Looking good. High side about 105 degrees. No problems with that. Got a cold suction line. It really needs some insulation going on that. Total unit's running at 7.25. That's the fan and the compressor. .6 is on the compressor, 0.5 on the fan. So we're at 6.6 on the compressor. .55 on the fan motor, which bothers me a little bit because it's 0.5 on the FLA, 0.55 on a cool morning like this means that the fan probably runs at about 0.6 on a hot day. So I'll let them know that that could be giving them issues in the future as well. Okay, well, we got that job done, and so they basically had a bad capacitor, which is no surprise. But when I got the system up and running and I tested out the amp draws on the compressor and the fan motor, I noticed the fan motor was running at 0.55 amps. You know, and it's only 80 degrees out right, 80 degrees out right now at the time of the call. So on the hottest days of the year, you can definitely expect that condenser fan motor to run a little bit higher than that. The RLA on that fan motor is 0.5, meaning that condenser fan motor is only supposed to run, as high as 0.5 amps. It's a 15-year-old condenser fan motor, and it's very likely that the bearings inside that motor have lost some of the oil, some of the lubrication, and so they're rubbing maybe a little bit more with a little bit more friction than they were before when the fan was new. So I let them know, hey, the fan is running. Your system's running again. If I would be happy if your condenser fan motor was running at 0.4, 0.45, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But when I see it running at 0.55 and its maximum amp draw is supposed to be 0.5 amps, that I want to bring that to your attention. That condenser fan motor could go out today, being as hot as it's going to be today, or it could go out 5 years from now. I really don't know when it's going to go out, but I just wanted to bring it to their attention. And she seemed like she appreciated it. She said, I let them know, hey, condenser fan motor is going to be, this price. And she said, well, okay, well, I mean, we'll probably change it out before next spring. And then she was like, well, you know what, if by next spring I have to change that thing out anyways, she's like, I might just end up just getting a new system. So we'll see. It's all up in the air. I don't try to get too excited by those conversations. It's totally up to them. I tend to agree with her on that, though. I mean, I hate to spend $500-600 on a condenser fan motor to get that thing up and running. When you could put that money towards, like she said, I could put that money towards the future with a new system. So we're going to head out to El Dorado Hills now, the Serrano area. A bunch of just beautiful hillside homes way up here in the hills, and Just every single house is immaculate, just awesome neighborhood. And they asked if we could get out today. Their system's not cooling, so we're going to go out there and see what's going on. Crossing my fingers for another bad cap. So I'm being lazy today. So let's go see what's going on at this call. Yeah, so I'm just not getting anything off of this capacitor. And I test this capacitor, brand new one. Hopefully it's just your capacitor here. Got to be careful that this metal doesn't touch this 24 volts here. So I'm going to put a piece of tape on there so that when I put the capacitor on back in there, it doesn't touch that. Because then back up at the unit up in the attic, the little 5 amp fuse on the board will blow. Yeah, I like to shoot like little training videos of my some of the work that I do for. And yeah, so I have a YouTube channel that it's pretty much just a bunch of other HVAC guys, you know, that watch the videos. But sometimes I get customers off of it. You know, they can see like how I work, and if they, you know, if they like me, maybe they'll hire me. You know, so.
Sorry, I hope I didn't mess up your video by coming and talking later.
Oh gosh, no, it's all I always try to be super personable when it comes to stuff like that. So. Up and running. Definitely up and running, but this is compressor's running at 20 amps. It's pretty high. RLA on this unit. Oh, it's 28, so 28's RLA, so not bad. Not super efficient, but not bad. It's a 16-year-old system. Fan's running at 1.2. And 2.0 is the maximum amp draw to run at. We got a really cold suction line right now. So I imagine if these guys were cooling before, they'll be cooling just fine now. It was just a capacitor. Okay, finished up that call. I love it when Sunday calls go this smoothly. I don't want to jinx myself. Heading over to my next call in Lincoln, and she says that her basically no air is coming out of her registers. That her outside system works, but her indoor system does not. So it's possible it could be another capacitor, the one on the blower motor. It could be a bad blower motor. She says she has a York system, and Yorks sometimes have 1 horsepower blower motors. And I carry universal blower motors on my truck, but I don't carry 1 horsepower blower motors on my truck. So when those Yorks go bad, there's a lot of times I can't. There's sometimes on the bigger systems, the 4 and 5 ton units, that I can't replace it same day, especially on a Sunday, because none of the warehouses are open. But I would have to go back Monday, pick up the blower motor, and schedule a time to go back out there and pick it up. Schedule a time to go back out there and replace that blower motor. But I carry rescue motors on me. Mars has some new universal motors out now that I'm enjoying as well. They look good so far. I may switch over to those entirely. I do like I like Mars products, and Ferguson HVAC is where I buy a lot of my parts because they treat me so well over there, and they do still sell the rescue motors, but real good price on the Mars universal motors. So. Well, we're going to head over to Lincoln now and see what's going on with this lady's airflow. And I think I'm going to actually pick up some lunch real quick, and then I'll probably head out there. So stay tuned.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you for asking. What can I get started for you?
Can I get a double with cheese and no onions?
Okay.
Fries and a drink.
Okay, and what would you like to drink with that?
I'll take Coke, please.
Will you be eating this inside of the car?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so just 1 double with everything but the onion, 1 fry, and 1 medium Coke?
Yes, please.
Okay, $7.50. Want your first with there, please?
Hey, could you add some 2 packets of spread, please?
Of course, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gotta get some lunch. Sorry, I'm taking a little film of this. So the evap coil is so melted, or so blocked up, it's like an ice cube. So we turn the heater on to get it to melt, and so you can see that heater is melting the evap coil pretty rapidly. So rapidly that the water is coming out of the secondary right now. So, but as soon as that evap coil, it's just melting so rapidly that it's flowing. It's not only coming out of the primary, but it's coming out of the secondary. And eventually it'll stop. That ice retains a lot of water. We have the suction line on this York system is frozen pretty much all the way out to the unit, and our pressures inside the system were about 17 degrees on the suction side, and I know that it was blocked, but the high side pressure was also only about 110 degrees, and we're about 105 degrees right now. So imagine we're just low. We need to get the refrigerant pressures back up. Once we do, then I'll bet you the lines won't freeze up anymore. So we'll have to double check the filter and make sure airflow's good. And we are still melting pretty cold water. Still got water coming out of the secondary too. Alright, well, I'm getting a little bit better temps here. I've added 2 pounds of refrigerant into the system. I was at 17 degrees before. I added 2 pounds, and now I'm up to about 36 degrees at the evap coil. My high side temp's about 122, and I'm about 105 right now where I'm at. Alright, so you can see my subcool and my superheat are starting to come closer together now. I had a 54 superheat before. My suction line's starting to get colder. You can see I'm at 116 ambient right now. And I'm still only about 127 degrees on the outdoor ambience on the outdoor coil, so I'd like to see that a little bit higher. I like that my evap coil is coming up to 45. That's good. We've added 3 pounds on a system that holds probably about 8.5 pounds. So we're getting close. Superheat's coming down nicely. We just have a piston on this. Okay, we just came down to a really nice level on superheat. Subcool's about 7.7. We're at 3.5 pounds added to the system. So delta T is pretty high. My evap coil is 48 degrees, outdoor condenser coil at 130, and I'm at 116 right here, 117 ambient. So I'm pretty happy with that split. So we're gonna go ahead and probably wrap this thing up. Yeah, and my suction line's about 55 degrees, so that's probably about the temperature of the evap coil. That's probably about the temperature of the air we want coming out of the registers right now. I think it's about 75, 76 inside. So I think we're good to go here. We're gonna button it up. We're gonna let them know they probably have a leak, so we can, you know, they can either figure out if they want to move forward the leak search now or wait and see how much it leaks out in the future. Tough choice to make, but that's where we're at. Holy cow, that was a crazy ass call. So I started that system up, and then all of a sudden we're hearing the blower motor. I can hear the squirrel cage is like slipping up there in the attic. You can hear just like this grinding noise, and so I got up there, I turned the system back on. It was only happening every time the blower motor was starting up, because the motor will spin at a certain speed, but since the squirrel cage isn't quite attached anymore, and I've had this problem before on York squirrel cages before, but it's slipping, so like it's not going as fast as the rotor on the blower motor. So the rotor's spinning at a certain speed, but as the cups on the squirrel cage are catching air, it's slowing the squirrel cage down, and it's causing it to, you know, do this grinding noise, this really crazy grinding noise. So and what's going on is right in the middle of that spine on the squirrel cage, which I'm going to come out Tuesday and change it. That spine is not attached to the rest of it, and so it's spinning. It's just sliding. You could probably just spin it in your hands. So I know that's what's going on with it. So we're going to order a new squirrel cage on Monday, since it's Sunday today, and get them hopefully get them back up and going. Their temp split still wasn't great, even after, you know, I got the pressures up where they should be, but the temp split still wasn't great. I got a nice cold suction line. My superheat and subcool look good, but I have a feeling something going on with that blower in the squirrel cage is messing with things, messing with that temp split as well. We'll see. We'll check it out. But I got to get everything up to factory specs before I can diagnose anything else. You have to get everything running right, and then you can figure out, you know, what's going on from there. So yeah, I can't figure out what's going on with my temp split if I don't have a system if I don't have a blower motor that's running perfectly. So we'll get there piece by piece, but it's Sunday, everybody's closed. I can't go order anything right now, so we're gonna move on to the next call, and it's just a noise call or something like that, or maybe it's not running, it's rental. So I'm going to go out and go see the tenants, and then the tenants are going to tell the owner. So probably not going to get to fix this. And then I did get another call for later on, back towards Rancho Cordova, where I live. I figured it's on my way home. I'll go ahead and run that call. So me avoiding being at home today. Just take on more calls. So, all right, well, on to the next one. Okay, well, we're heading to the last call for the day. I just kind of kept taking calls as the day was going along. But that last one I just went to, they had a squeaky fan motor, a condenser fan motor. It was like squeaking. You could see the oil on the outside of the casing. It was hard to show on video, but you know, anytime there's a buildup of what looks wet at the bottom of the condenser fan motor on that outdoor unit, you can be sure that the oil has seeped out of its casing there where the bearings are, and it's starting to cause metal to metal friction at high speeds, which will cause like a squealing or a squeaking noise. So I let them know what the price would be on a new condenser fan motor. They passed on it. They said they weren't ready to pay for that right now, so not a problem. It's one of those things where, somebody's going to budge. They think they can get a condenser fan motor done for cheaper, and they probably can. They know a guy. It was a rental property, and so they were asking the landlord, hey, can we pay this much? So that landlord probably has another contractor who has more reasonable pricing. So that's fine. We're going to head over to our next call, last call here back in Rancho, Cordova, and then be done for the day. So I'll see if I can catch any video on that one. Well, that was good. It was just another capacitor, so we got that system back up and running. I changed the capacitor out and got the system up and running, but the compressor didn't want to start running. So I took the fan cage off, took the condenser fan cage off, and felt the top of the compressor. I just wanted to see if it was hot or anything, because I knew it was getting voltage to the compressor, but there's an internal switch on the inside of the compressor where if it's overloaded on high temp or anything like that, then that compressor won't start up. So that's exactly what was going on. I cooled it off with a hose for about 5 minutes and got the compressor nice and cool. Put the disconnect in, system started right back up. So got them up and running. Once the system was up and running, it's like 85 degrees in their house, right? And so I got their system up and running, and they're like, oh, it's not as cool air coming out as it was before. And I told, I went in there, I was like, okay, well, I had just gotten done finishing up the invoice for my last call of the day, and they came out and they're like, hey, it's not as much air coming out, it's not as cool as it was before. And so I put down my invoice, I got my ladder, and my temperature gauge, little digital, little digital temperature gauge. My probe, stuck it up in the register, and I had 63 degree air coming out of the register downstairs, 82 degree air downstairs, that's what the thermostat was saying, and 85 degree air upstairs. So I let them know that, they're hot, the walls are hot, the ceiling's hot, the furniture's hot, they're hot. And so the system's going to run hard tonight. It's going to try and cool the system down. It may not do a very good job, but tonight, as the house cools down, the system's going to start back up tomorrow, and everything's going to be back to normal. So I said, trust me, you'll get up tomorrow and everything will be just like normal again with your air. They have a zoned system, so both zones were calling. So I am about to run out of video. I have 1 minute left of video on my tape. So this has been a long day. Just another day in the life of a technician out there during the summertime. I love it. I love doing what we do. I like it when some of the calls are easier, like the capacitors, but the more technical ones, the stumpers, are also fun to troubleshoot as well. So we have to follow up Tuesday on that scroll cage, and we'll figure out what's going on. We'll get that thing changed out, and then we'll find out why the temp split's not so great there. Yeah, I'm running out, so I gotta go, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.